The views and opinions expressed on Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar are those of its host and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar, and this is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
Yeah.
And we have today's date is June 15th, the year of our Lord 2022.
Yeah.
And I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. Nice to meet everyone, see everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
We have comments here. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and like us.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Facebook Live right now. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
Yeah, we're likable if you give us a chance.
And here's Jeremy. Jeremy, say hello.
Hey!
Jeremy's not in the middle of the screen, but that's okay. We don't mind that.
I'm not in the middle?
No, well, you look pretty good. So this is a political, medical talk show.
There we go. Yeah.
We've been doing radio for about 3-4 years now, and we just started to do our video podcast. We're the number one. Jeremy, did you notice we're the number one video podcast
In our time slot?
in Toms River, New Jersey?
Hey, Tom's River, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's, listen, we got an award the other day.
Take it when we can get it,
Right,
right?
we're number one.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a very, very interesting show today, and it has to do with gun violence. When I was doing my training in the city in Philadelphia, they had the crack cocaine wars going on. I saw a lot of victims, a lot of people who got shot up.
Like you were actually
guns.
doctoring these
Yeah,
people?
yeah. I did a ER call. I did anesthesia call.
Oh, wow.
So when you're doing your training, you get thrown into the whole thing, and it just so happened that
So you've actually, gun control, gun laws, it's all been in the news lately because of the mass shootings we keep getting in high schools and whereabouts. So you've actually seen the victims of these weapons.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. You're so dark, Jeremy. I don't know what that's going on. I got like a million lights on you.
Yeah,
Maybe the camera,
I have. I get shady thoughts from time to time.
Yeah, I don't know why you're so dark. Yeah, so I was, to answer your question, yes, I was in the city. I took care of a lot of people who got shot, car accidents, but also, trauma. Shot, stabbed, beat up with, chopped up with a machete, beat up with sticks. I mean, everything you can imagine, people use as weapons. People just think that guns are the only weapon. That ain't, I saw a guy had a fractured skull. One of his buddies hit him over the head with a chair.
Like you do, yeah.
Like you do. Or I've seen people get run over by cars. Definitely. And I don't want to be, talk about the sexes, but it seems like I remember quite a few.
Watch what you're saying now.
Quite a few women ran over their boyfriends with their car.
No, hey, I had an ex-girlfriend.
There you go.
Try to back over me with
There
her
you
car.
go.
She
There you
said
go.
she didn't, but our eyes met.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's another whole story for another day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's get into our story here. So let's go to the whiteboard. So there's our whiteboard, and I wrote a couple things down here that I want to go over. And people who are on our podcast, you guys got to come over to the lives and at least look at that.
Live shows or video shows, so you'll get to see,
So
what we're talking about,
right.
really.
So the gun deaths, and we're going to also show some. We're going to go on to some YouTube
Videos,
articles. So gun deaths in the United States. So the number one deaths with guns is suicide.
Right.
Okay, suicides. And I'm going to bring this pie up in a minute. The next one is murders, and most of those murders are with handguns. That's people shooting other people.
Yeah, but that's a lot of that shooting though are from handguns that were purchased illegally. These people do not have licenses.
No.
To own these handguns, and that's where the majority of these type
Yes.
of murders are happening.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we talk about assault weapons. Everybody's AR-15.
That's the hot gun right now.
Yeah, who's that stupid ass on The View?
Whoopi.
Yeah, well,
Whoopi
no,
went
there's a
off
couple.
on the
Yeah.
AR-15.
So you know what the funny thing is, the assault rifle, which is the AR-15, accounts for 3%, only 3%, which is too much as it is, but 3% of deaths, gun deaths. So assault rifles, what Whoopi wants to take off, is going to impact.
You know what's hard though about that percentage is like when you see a mass shooting on the news at a school, and you try to somehow in your mind see that as 3%. That's tough.
Yeah.
Especially when they're bringing out kids.
Right,
you know, I mean that's a toughie.
Well, if you want to fix a problem, you can't. You have to. Certainly, you get emotional, but you also have to calm down and look at the facts and target it. I'm going to tell you in the next hour how we could reduce to a significant level the deaths by guns in this country. Okay, so just hold on to your seats. Yeah. I have some answers or some ideas.
Sure thing.
So let's go to my iPad, please.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I got everything today. Hold on a second, guys.
Okay, so let's go here. So this is an article that was published here in the Pew Research Center. Pew. And that's not like Stinky Pew.
No, they smell there.
And this is I would think by anybody's standard, a reputable periodical.
Their logo is the stink eye. You can see it right there.
Yeah. So this is an article that came out February 3rd. And people could be watching this on a monitor, and it's the February 3rd, 2022. So
what the data says about gun deaths in the U.S.
Right, and I want to go down here and look at this pie chart here, and suicides account for more than half.
Oh yeah, blow that up.
Half of the deaths right here. Suicides account for more than half of U.S. gun deaths in 2020. Now, again, this is 2022, but it's the same. If you look here at this pie chart, you have murder 43%, suicide 54%, and then other. Okay, and I want to drill down on all of these different things. And here's a couple of statistics here that you have to understand. Suicides in this country are increasing. Not the overall, but what people are killing themselves. Between the 10 and 18-year-old, right? It's zooming up, like 15% increase. And then the middle age is not as bad, and then you get into the older population, and then it jumps up again. So you got the old people, and I say old, 65 and above, 60 and above, and kids, 18 and below. That's your biggest rise in suicides. So, and again, how many of them are guns? In the United States, the amount of people committing suicide is very similar to the amount of people committing suicide in the rest of the world. I don't know how it is in China, but like in Europe. But in Europe, it's not, most people who kill themselves, or a lot of people, it's not guns. It's rope, it's, hanging themselves, it's poison, things of that nature. And so you have to be careful here when you talk about getting rid of the guns, how much suicides would go down? It would probably, we have more suicides than a lot of people. I think guns, easy access to guns are.
Here's the thing. With
you understand what I'm saying, though?
I totally get it.
Because it's not just
if you take away the guns, you're not taking away the rope or the razor blade. So if somebody is really concentrated on trying to kill themselves, they will, irregardless of whether they have a gun within reach. But the thing that worries me about some of this is like what the murder was, it murder and that 3%, is that those are guns?
That's other
gun
other
related
guns, right. It's not.
So that could be like somebody cleaning their weapon and boom.
No, that's cop shootings.
Okay, yeah,
that's
gotcha.
maybe self-defense. So here's the thing. Look, you really hear the data available. This is in 2022. Excuse me, 2020. About 45,000 people died from gun-related injuries in the United States. The other two could be accidental. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're right. Mm-hmm. So just to give you a number, that's the kind of numbers you're looking at. Now, I want to concentrate on all of these, but let's just talk about the suicides. All right. And the
Oh,
suicide.
that's what I was going to say. I'm sorry, Mike.
Well, go ahead,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Mike. When I was looking at the suicides, okay, so say we take away the guns, okay? We're not taking away the reason why people want to die.
No.
Okay, and you know what? I mean, it's arguable. I get that, but we're not looking at the time we're living in, the state of our country, or the world. People. What depresses people and what people get them into that funk where they don't feel like they can live, especially after coming out of lockdowns and an unprecedented pandemic.
Right.
You know, there were kids killing themselves during those times and stuff.
Right.
But that my point is, I think heavily the state of our country and the world we're living in is a bigger reason or a bigger gun. Let's say,
right, than
it's
a gun.
A bigger gun than using a gun.
The reason why I want to focus just on
because I think if you draw up a pie chart about the reasons why people get killed, it's going to be
right. Well, here's the thing: suicides is another whole show, and why people kill themselves, and why more people kill themselves. But here's why I want to make the point:
murder, anger.
But listen to me, follow me. I want to get this point across because I think people have to understand this, who are for guns and against guns. It's in suicides, if you just concentrate on taking the guns away and nothing else, okay, you might reduce the suicide rate by maybe 10%. Yeah. But that's about it.
Their argument will be,
what?
Well, that 10%. Man,
no, it's good, good. And I think that you need to take away guns from people who are severely depressed and mentally ill. But my point is about this is that even if you take away the guns and you don't go to the core problem of suicide, like you said,
yes,
you're wasting your time. And can you imagine if we got these people who commit suicide, which is the vast majority of gun deaths, 54% out of 45,000. So you knock off about 20,000 people a year off of the gun death register. That's a substantial decrease. We go down to one of the safest countries in the world all of a sudden. What's skewing the statistics here is suicide, deaths by gun suicide. What I'm saying is that one way we could attack this gun violence right now is to sink a ton of money into mental health. I can tell you, I'm a doctor, and this is why I want to bring it. Mental health issues it's such bullshit. It's not taken care of. I had one of my friends and colleagues. He had a handgun. He had issues with two girls. They were both got pregnant, and there was a tumultuous scenario, and he was raging. There was I don't know what kind of violence, but there was definitely could have been interdiction there. Maybe by the family or somebody.
Cry for help.
And number one, they could have taken the gun away.
Yeah.
They could have taken the gun away, but that may not have solved the problem. He still may have killed himself or killed somebody else. You needed to have intense therapy, and not therapy where you throw him into jail, not where you put him in these facilities that are for the crazy. You need to have
like a
good
group therapy,
good
would be great.
And say, listen, you got to go, and help them out financially. I mean, a lot of these, there's all kinds of things that are going on with these people who are committing suicide.
And also as far as the children go, teenagers and the like, they have to be told that life isn't over yet, that tomorrow will always come, and the world will change and get better. I think a lot of these young people, they think, especially during when we had the lockdowns and all of that,
right.
And they lost track of what normal life was like in 2 years, and all they were locked up in their house. They couldn't leave. They were stuck on with school on a Zoom call, and most of these kids didn't get an education for those 2 years. and they got depressed and lethargic, and many of them did commit suicide. So they need to be told that nothing is permanent. Things change over time, and you have to allow for time to pass and opportunity to happen, and let these kids learn that there's something else beyond suicide. It's not the end of the world.
Well, and again, it's the old people too. I just had a guy I knew just shot himself. He was 63 years old.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And but you see a lot of this. And again, you know,
believe me. I used to be a security guard at retirement villages, right? And there were, I remember one such occasion where a guy was doing the dishes, right? Old man, retirement village.
Right.
And his wife said something, okay, and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And he blows her brains out and his own.
Right.
You know?
Well, you could take this argument or this discussion and say, on top of that, last year there was 110,000 drug overdoses in the United States between April 21, April 22. The year before that, April 20 to 21 was 100,000. Now, that coincides with open borders. Yeah. Before that, it was trending down. It was trending, the last administration before that, it was before 2016, it was trending up. It was 60,000, 70,000. It kind of, around 2016, 17, 18, 19, it started going down. And I think that they stopped the fentanyl from coming into the country, which is, but my point is, how many people, Jeremy, who died of a drug overdose were suicidal, or they just didn't give a shit, or they couldn't care if they died or not? And I wonder, we don't know what was in their mind, but so who knows what the suicide rate is? Like, a lot of those people didn't take a gun.
I think most people who overdose, it's as much of a surprise to them.
No.
I think
I see the
drugs are a means to an end.
Okay, let me ask you this: when you get a guy or a girl who I've seen this, who overdosed 3, 4, 5 times and were Narcan 3, 4, 5 times, and were told right to their face, "You're going to die," and they continue to do it. Now I know they're addicted, and they may not be able to help themselves, but if you tell me there's no death wish there, then you're. No,
you're right.
I get. So I'm telling you.
But you also have to bear in mind, though. Also, there's a lot of people that are just plain ignorant.
Stupid. You mean?
Stupid. Yeah.
Obtuse. Yeah, but I can tell you right now, out of that percentage of 110,000, there's a percentage of those people, 10%, 20%, they were offing themselves. And you'll never know because maybe they don't want to put a gun to their head. And they don't have the gun.
Well, I think if you're living that lifestyle anyway, you've kind of signed.
But see, you're
signed off on everything.
But your attitude, your position is very common.
Yeah.
It's the guns. It's the guns. It's the guns. I'm telling you right now, there's mental illness, and a lot of those. If you just say, "Oh, Mike," the people who are dying of odro, it's just an accident. You're drinking the Kool-Aid too.
Me.
Yeah,
Kool-Aid,
you drink
right.
Kool-Aid. I think it's so we need to. So what are we going to do? Let's talk about. So the biggest things is suicide. How are we going to reduce that?
Yeah.
We need to do a lot of mental health issues. We need to get these people care. It needs to be paid for. Right. We have to have clinics, like you said. What do you call it, Jeremy? Yeah, put my name. Group therapy, and really go after these people. And I'm all for these, what they call red laws. Now, they have this in Florida, and I think it's a great model. If you're, and it doesn't have to be forever. We could take the guns away temporarily. If you have a domestic, or you're despondent, and the family is concerned, you got to go through a divorce, let's say.
Okay.
Or, whatever the family issue is, you could be identified, and it's not criminal. They could take the gun and don't take it away forever. It's your Second Amendment right, but let's get that gun out of your possession, and let's get intense therapy, and let's get you through this to the point where you could go out there and function. You get your gun back, but we got it. That is something I am very, 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 very pro. So they call them red flag laws.
Yeah.
So that's one way we could do it. But understand, we need to.
Well, some of these red flag laws are bad, aren't they?
Well, I mean, if people use them nefariously, say my agenda is to get rid of guns.
Right.
You look the wrong way. You have an argument, road rage, and you yell at somebody, and they report you, and I take all your guns away. That's bullshit. There needs to be, maybe a judge involved. It needs to be heavy duty.
Bullshit, but they can't do it.
Well, how are you going to listen? Then don't do it and let them kill themselves.
It's happening in Canada right now.
Yeah, well, there's an extreme. This is the slippery slope. And can we do things without having slippery slope? Let me tell you, we banned assault rifles for 10 years, and now you can buy them. So I'm not so sure. You can only bang against the Second Amendment so much.
And that's the thing, though. Like,
I don't think I'm not worried.
If you're going to put a ban on assault weapons,
it's not going to do anything.
No, but it's something. Okay, yeah, it may not have stopped a lot of people, and they could still get their hands on it. But then we got to look to where they're getting their hands on them. Then,
right?
And that's nuts.
Right.
We have to actually bulk up and maintain the law. If we're putting a ban on something, we have to follow up with that.
Well, first of all, yeah, right. There was a ban on assault rifles that didn't do anything. But let's just say
there was a ban on assault rifles,
yes,
and we didn't do anything. That's more.
What do you mean we
accurate.
didn't do anything?
Well, if you put a ban on something, you need to come up with some sort of
no. They were still no. You couldn't own
that
them.
Are going to look at this and then police it.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, listen. When you're not going to stop all crime, you could make a law in this country, no guns. Yeah. Try to take them away. There's still going to be black market.
If you're going to go on the news and you're going to make a big thing about what you're doing, we're going to put a ban on assault rifles. That's it.
No, say all guns.
The line, all guns.
No, but
all right, let's say all guns. All guns. But if you're not going to actually create a department that's actually going to police that ban or anything like that. What do you think you're going to get? It's just words that are being spoken
Jeremy,
out to
even
TV.
If you do that, first of all, you're going to have to kill millions of people, hundreds of thousands, because they're not going to give it their guns. But let's just say you do that.
You can take it away from my cold dead hand.
Here's my point. I think there's a bigger picture here that you're missing too. You're not going to stop criminals from using guns. The German army surrounded Stalingrad. Right? It was 18-month siege. German army. Thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of soldiers surrounded a city, and they couldn't stop the city from functioning. Stuff got in, arms got in. Human nature is human nature. The thing about the law is the law can only do so much. You could ban every gun. There'll still be murders. There'll still be people kill themselves. When I was a kid, we could drive around with a gun. We had guns we would go hunting. Nobody thought about mass shooting. So let's not. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. My point is that if you want to do something for suicides, which is the biggest percentage of gun deaths in the United States, and by the way, it's mostly handguns. It's pretty hard, and I don't mean to be a joke about it. It's pretty hard to shoot yourself with an AR-15 or a shotgun because the thing is so long.
Right. You need your big toe anyway.
Right. I know they watched. You watched that movie.
Well, that's how the guy.
Apocalypse.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Because that's what Gomer Pyle did. He used his big toe.
And you could do that. But my point is that let's focus.
And I watched that recently. That movie's effed up, man.
It's good.
Yeah.
So if we really want to do something, the first thing I would do is, number one, is concentrate on mental health. And also, I know that red flag laws, a lot of people are concerned about it. They have them in Florida. You could make them temporary, and you could work on it. Okay. Yeah. So that's my one thing. Okay. Let's go back to the whiteboard before we go here. The next thing I want to talk about is murders. This is the number 2 amount of deaths out of this 45,000, 50,000 people. About 43%, almost half, are murders.
See, I don't even know what I'm more upset about. That suicides are number 1 or murders are number 2. I mean it's what a sad state this world is in, man.
Okay, so let's go to my iPad.
Yeah. Let's go to the iPad. Bam.
Okay, so let's go here. So here's murders. Okay. The share of U.S. gun deaths are murders, and what share are suicides? Okay, so again, the percentage, what share of all murders and suicides involve a gun? It's just talking about statistics. But most murders, okay, when they say murders here, we're not talking about, we don't know what killed them, but most of the murders, right, people who kill other people, about 80% are guns, okay?
Right.
80% guns, okay?
Yeah.
So you got, I don't want to confuse the issues, but so let me go down here. How many U.S. gun deaths change? I don't want to hear that. So what is going on?
Whoa, let's look at that one. Look at that one. That shows you the fluctuation from year to year to year. Yeah. But it looks like suicide has always been number one.
Right. Now look at back in 72 and 76.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were like
they were high.
They were head to head there, yeah.
There was a record, so and there were so back in the 70s and 76, 77. Now what was going on? Excuse me, Jeremy, back in that day, do you remember?
Yeah, they were pissed off about the war in Vietnam.
You had the Vietnam War going on. You had major strifes, civil rights strifes. The president of the United States was Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
The interest rates were 20%. People were friggin' starving.
Jimmy Carter considered one of the worst presidents we've ever had.
Yeah, well, maybe Fillmore too. But look at, so we're talking right now, the suicide rate is actually below what it was in the 70s, but it dipped down and went back up. The murder rate right now, back in like in 72.
Look at 84 and 88. The murder rate, man. We were doing all right then. We were living peace. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. So and that's
why we got to get back to those Cold War days, man.
But you got to understand, Jeremy. If you look at this statistic
here,
here,
expect from it,
right? But if you look at this statistic here, it's not the same amount of guns have been around.
Yeah.
It's not the guns, the number of guns.
It's the people,
but it's the people. Look at what was going on in the 70s, 72, 76. That was tumultuous times.
Yeah.
You had riots. You had civil unrest.
The entire the 80s decade.
You know what was a lot of murder? You know what killed a lot of people back in those days? Bombs. You know how many? You had the Weather Underground. We talked about it in the last show.
Yeah.
They were blowing up shit left and right.
Those are the people that got pardoned.
The mafia was
right?
the mafia. The gangsters were using bombs. It was very effective. So I'm just trying to give. We're talking about research here. Let's see. This is by states. I don't want to get into this because I want to keep on going here. How other countries,
I would have liked to have seen that one.
But
I just want to see where. Oh, look here, New Jersey.
Yeah, we got a low.
We're low. That was all right.
But you have
Hawaii's the lowest.
Right, but let me just go here. I want to.
Namaste.
Right, how the number? I don't want to go into this right now. But this is an interesting statistic here. This is. I want to show you. So this is what type of firearms. This is right here. What type of firearms are most commonly used in gun murders in the United States? Handguns were involved in 59% of gun murders, non-neglect manslaughter, which is available. Okay, so the category of assault rifles, right, for murder were about 3%.
Yeah.
Shotguns were 1%, and the rest of the gun homicides and non-neglect manslaughter 36%.
Other kinds of firearms.
Right. They were probably handguns. They like maybe a semi-automatic handgun.
Or
could have been. Listen, it could be a knife. Well,
type not stated could be
right.
Could be
chairs,
a
knives.
machine gun. Yeah, you don't know.
Go out of this for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to just go to this whiteboard. So murders, handguns. Let's talk about murders and handguns and really what's happening here. Okay, Jeremy. Yeah. And I have some other things here. But what do you think if you had to?
You know what I think, Mike?
What do you think?
I think the people watching right here should like our videos and subscribe. And also, please, guys, just share it. Share it on your Facebook page. You never know. You might find likewise listeners, But it would help us a great deal. So please, share, subscribe, like, whatever you like to do. We'd be appreciative.
So what I want to, and this is controversial. We're going to get a little bit, I know you don't want me to go down this road, but we're going to go down this road a little bit. And this is another article that was published in. I don't want to look at this one here. Let's talk about again murders and handguns. So when we talk about this, we talk about in the cities. There's a lot of crime in the cities.
Yeah.
New York wasn't bad, but you have now Chicago. You have shootings all over the place.
Yes.
Okay, and a lot of this is gangbangers. A lot of this is criminal
Detroit,
activity.
And just turn on any news channel, you're going to see.
Chicago is the one. The weekend before Memorial Weekend, I think there was 90 shootings. Right. 14 people got shot. And unfortunately, in the cities, it's a lot of black on black crime.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. And I'm not blaming. Nobody's more violent. Blacks, whites, all of that. It's poverty. It's poverty. It's poverty. It's poverty. And you're going to take away the guns. It's still going to be rough. We got to do something with immediately. Okay. I'm talking about mental health stuff, but with this crime in the cities. This is people who are not legally owning the guns. They didn't buy them legally. They don't own them legally. A good example, they just had a big shooting in Philadelphia. Do you know Philadelphia? Now, in the state of Pennsylvania, you could carry a gun. You could carry a gun.
Yeah.
Okay? You could carry, but in Philadelphia, you don't supposed to have a gun. Right? And not in the city. It's called a Class 1 city. Yeah. But there's shootings all the time. What's going on? Now, you said, why don't we do something about it? What can be done? So you got kids, you got people.
One thing. Hang on. I got one thing, 100% that can be done.
What can you tell me? I want to hear this wisdom from Jeremy.
Are you ready for this?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
This will burn the house down. So how about we close the frickin' border down south and we stop shipping criminals all over our country who are committing a lot of these crimes, okay? Like, I heard that, like a Haitian prison was just opening up and letting their prisoners out to run across the border and become new Americans with brand new cell phones. And I'm sure a lot of them got baby formula without even having a baby.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, let's stop making bullets.
Well, I mean, no, it's the people that we just populated the United States with all of these people. We were flying them out under the cloak of darkness, okay, and landing them in all these choice cities to become future Democrats. All right, and they're the ones running around and shooting. That's my idea. I'm pitching it. I feel happy about it.
All right, you happy about it? You got that out?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, well.
The thought came to me, and I was like, I think this one's a winner.
Yeah. It might be. Let's go, as they say, let's go to videotape. Yeah. So I want to, and that's not a bad idea. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to stay on topic here. Yeah. So this is this was just, a couple, last week. So 3 people dead, 14 shot outside nightclub in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay. Is that a mass shooting? Well, it's handguns. It was knuckleheads who were drunk, shooting the shit out of each other. Yeah. They weren't supposed to have guns. They were probably illegal. Okay, and I don't think we're going to get her up here because I don't think we get the volume here. Yeah. And we're not getting anything. We can't hear it. But I want to hear is that 2 victims.
It says there, tap to unmute.
What's that?
You see in the small button there? It says tap to unmute.
Yeah, I don't.
Right here. See it?
Oh.
All right, just tapped it, and it just shut off the video.
Yeah, that was you. All right, let me go over here. So I want to just say that. So here's another 2. There was another one here in. You could go back to me, okay. Or you. There was. So you have this inner city. You have this. So there was. Is that a mass shooting? In Chattanooga. I'm just trying to find the other one here, and I had a whole bunch. There you are, Jeremy. So what do you do? What would you say you got to do to stop the inner city crime? So this is gangbangers. This is gangbangers. This is a lot of this. People don't want to talk about it. Is black on black crime.
Yeah.
Okay. And I listen. I have a mixed race family.
You know
and
what?
it's not just this. But
you have a heavily mixed race family.
Right,
let that be.
And here's the reason why I bring it up is here's the thing. In New York City, if you want to stop this violence right now, and there's children that are getting killed, 14-year-olds, 6-year-old girls, boys who are innocent bystanders. Most of this is gang members who are let out of jail by liberal DAs. In Philadelphia, you can do what you want to do. What they did in New York City, what Giuliani did, is they did stop and frisk.
Yeah.
They stopped everybody and they frisked them. Now, they say it's profiling. They say it was racial. But here's the thing. If you go to a city that's like Chicago and most of the crime is in this inner city, to stop it immediately, you got to stop and frisk, take the guns away, maybe incarcerate them, and if they are committing murder, put them away. You got to have them in jail. Yeah. And people say, oh no, okay. Then the root cause, what's going on? Then what we need to do is we need to work on this poverty. Maybe, and I listen to the black leaders. I'm not in that community, but they tell me 70% of the black community in these areas where there's crime, there's no father. There's one member. Yeah. Okay. The poverty. These kids.
Well, I'll tell you. You listen to people like Candace Owens.
Right. I
love Candace Owens.
Right.
She is an intelligent, young, black woman, stunningly beautiful too. She's a real cutie, and she will tell you that black on black crimes are bigger than white on black crimes, and that's something to be said there. I mean, that's.
Well, let's go. Yeah. So here's what
one thing that a lot of white people don't even know is that black people are prejudiced about other black people. Darker black people are prejudiced about lighter skinned black people.
I don't think that white, black, Asian, whatever, is any more violent, any more smarter or dumber. I think that a lot of this is poverty. It's social, like in Philippines, they're crazy with the guns, There's murders in other countries. It's what we allow, what we consider social. Listen, we have to educate people and say, listen, it's not okay to a 16-year-old kid to murder another 16-year-old kid. Do we want to lock him up or her up for the rest of their lives? No, but I don't know how to change that.
Here's the problem. You got a great idea right there on the board. It's at the bottom. Okay.
Stop and frisk.
Now, what's the problem with that? Well, you said it yourself. Then
it's racial profiling.
It's racial profiling. You did that because I'm this color, or I'm like slightly off white, maybe egg white.
Right.
But we need a department that is vetted. That like maybe they've had like psychological profile themselves, where these people are not racist. Okay, and they're vetted beforehand. Now, these are the people these officers are going out into the street. So, yeah, they can stop and frisk, and that bullshit about saying you're racially profiling can't happen at that point. That's what they need. Even if it's all black. I mean, I know it's weird to have to say this, but unfortunately, that's where we are. Even if the police officers that are doing the stopping and frisking are all black. Maybe that's smarter, okay? Because who's racially profiling then?
Okay. Hey, listen,
you see what I mean?
I understand.
But then we're getting the stopping and the frisking, and we're getting our people a little bit safer. We're getting our children from mass shootings a little bit safer. And people, you know what? People should be looking around. If you're living next door and some woman's son who's living in the basement apartment, okay, one thing, that's not an apartment, that's just her basement. And two, if you think he's a little shady, don't keep it to yourself. Like somebody needs to be saying, hey, you got to look at this guy over here because he's a little screwy. Now, is that right to do or say? I don't know. But I think our black police officers need to stand up. They are the hero. I mean, they're heroes. We need to let them stand up and do their jobs where they don't have the threat of accusations because they're doing their job, stopping and frisking. And that's that. If we understand that as a government, we've decided that this is what we're going to do. We're all going to be stopping and frisking people that look suspicious, okay? How is that racial profiling then?
Right.
When somebody actually, all right, well, okay, I'm a police officer. This is the law. I'm going to stop and frisk. No, then there's no racial profiling. We have to protect our police officers from that stuff. Otherwise, stuff like this can never happen. We can't live happily with guns then.
Right.
And we can't live happily without them.
Right. Go. I want to, I want to go here. Put the iPad back up again. I want to show you something here. So this is, on this thing about murders and guns. So this is the Philadelphia. I went to school in Philly, so I'm very familiar with Philly. I lived in Philly for 6 years. I did my residency just outside of Philly. So this is an article, June 15th. Very, Wednesday, June 15th.
When was
what's
the
today?
last time you went to Philly?
This today? Let me see. Wednesday. Okay?
Yeah.
And 2022. Yeah. And this is the laws for gun owners in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. Okay?
Okay.
And I just want to go here and so what basically the Pennsylvania State form background checks. You have to have a background checks. All right. Who can buy a gun? To purchase a handgun, a person must be at least 21 years old in Philly and at least 18 to purchase a long gun. And I think that's a reasonable law. And we should probably pass that, maybe for the whole country. But again, still you have major problems in the city. So now, even in the city or Philly or the whole state, you got to be 21. There are a number of factors that can disqualify somebody from legally buying a gun in the state. Pennsylvania law, for example, prohibits people from buying firearms if they've been convicted of any of the number of crimes, including murder, manslaughter, burglar, robbery, arson, aggravated assault, rape, and other serious offenses, or have been convicted of 3 separate DUI charges in 5-year period.
All right.
Okay, so they got some heavy-duty, laws there. Additionally, people who are undocumented immigrants have been involuntarily committed to a mental institution or subject to an active protection from abuse are prohibited from buying firearms. So if you're an illegal immigrant, illegal in this country, you're breaking the law. You're not allowed to have a firearm. Isn't that something? Now,
I like that.
but the courts can reverse that. So what about carrying in the state?
Well, yeah, but what's an illegal
Right.
today?
Generally in Pennsylvania,
do they even exist?
Right, open carrying in a firearm or carrying a firearm that is visible like hip holster is legal and does not require a permit of any kind. So you can walk around in Philly, not necessarily Philadelphia, but it's everywhere except for Philadelphia. So this is true, which is considered a city of first class because of its population size. So in Philly, you need to have a license to carry a gun, whether it's open or concealed. Okay, and to get a permit to carry a concealed firearm anywhere in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, it's known as a license to carry firearm. It's available to people aged 21 or older and is granted by the local sheriff.
Right.
Okay? Getting it means you have to pass an investigation that determines a background that you aren't disqualified from having a license. So the state police says that applicants can be defined if the character and reputation of the individual are such that they would be likely to act in a manner dangerous to public safety. That's very broad. So prohibited are habitual drunkards. That means you can't get the license. Right, Jeremy?
Yeah,
unlawful users of marijuana or other drugs. Well, I don't know anymore because now it's legal.
I get drunk and belligerent most nights.
Why wouldn't you let somebody who does pot all the time have a gun? That's an interesting part of the law. Those dishonorably discharged from the armed forces and people prohibited
not even to protect other people, protecting yourself. If you're high as a kite and you're messing about with a gun, yeah, you kiss your ass goodbye, buddy. You're not making the night. Not at all.
Right. Well, you could carry in Pennsylvania. It's a shall issue state, and unless
we shall issue it to you, but only if you're not a douchebag about it. Yeah.
Well, so but you and there are places that are off limit in the city. So my point is that already. What
are you doing walking around with a gun on you anyway?
Well, listen,
most law-abiding Americans have them locked up in a safe. It's all legal. So, license, the safe is mandatory, all of that jazz. If you're walking around with it holstered on you...
No. If you're doing it legally, make the point here.
No, but that's my point. why would you be doing it legally?
To protect yourself. What if there's crime all over the place?
Yeah. If there is,
what if you have?
There is. No, you're 100%.
Whoa! You just stepped on.
No, I'm diving out of it.
No, you better listen. You better put your car in reverse right now, or I'm gonna jump over this table with my concealed carry and shoot one of your toes off.
I just thought you were happy to see me.
No, so. Here's the thing. The Second Amendment, we talked about this. I can't believe I have to educate you again on this.
What?
Listen.
I bailed.
The Second Amendment. You make a good point, but I want to educate you why you're wrong in your ways. I have the right. You have the right to protect. You have the right for life. What if there's people out there, Jeremy, who will slit your throat from one end to the other? There's people, I could give you scenarios. Let's just say you're a woman and some guy knocks on your door and tries to rape you. Or what if there's a gang of guys, they want to rob your house. They want to assault you. You're at a restaurant, wherever. And you got these thugs, they're drunk, they're crazy. How are you going to protect yourself? You're going to beat them up? You get punched in the face. A gun is a way to protect yourself. And you have the right to protect yourself. You have the right to live. You have the right for life. So to carry a gun, this is going to be a Supreme Court decision coming up soon. I'm going to see, they're going to go one way or the other. Yeah. And the argument is, does the Second Amendment give people a right to carry a gun to protect themselves? In the state of New Jersey, we cannot carry a gun outside to protect ourselves. It has to be very, very, very small window. Now, here's the thing. Why? Let me ask you this, Jeremy. What's the problem with carrying a gun? If you're a law-abiding citizen and you fit all of those criteria, why can you not carry a gun? Why not? What's the problem?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Well, you're the only one in the room here.
No, but I think.
Let me see. Is anybody else here? I don't see anybody else.
Anybody? All right. No. It's just that. Let me reword it because I'm thinking about it the wrong way. In my life, where I live, I don't feel the need to have such a thing.
Right now, you don't.
To be carried. Yeah, right now I don't.
Right, you don't now. But what if?
But.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do, and I will fight for other people to have that right to bear arms. I mean, it's
right. Yeah, don't. Yeah. So you may not.
So don't think I'm against guns or anything.
Nobody's
it's
saying.
Just in my life, it's never had come up. It's never been a thing I needed.
The law in Philadelphia doesn't make you carry a gun. You don't have to carry a gun.
No, but I shall.
No, but you don't. I mean, you don't have to. You may, but there's no law that says you shall. Right, It says you don't have to carry a gun. But my point is that in Philadelphia, they have some of the strictest gun laws, and they still got them shooting the shit out of each other.
And I guarantee you, I would never show my face.
And I would guarantee that the people who shot these guns and did the murdering in Philly, just as when I was there. Now remember, I was there firsthand. I saw the crack cocaine wars. Right. I saw hundreds, if not hundreds and hundreds of gun deaths. You know what they were? All illegal guns, all people who were criminals, all people who shouldn't have had the guns. Yeah. Now, some of the people who died were innocent bystanders.
So if you take away legal gun owning, people who actually go through the red tape to get a license and to be able to own a gun to protect themselves.
Right.
If you take that away from them, what do we have to
who
protect
has the guns
ourselves from the people who got them illegally and are actually the ones that are doing the crimes?
Now, people tell me, Mike.
How many people get a license for a gun and then start shooting up the neighborhood and other people? You don't do that. The gun's registered. They already know what the bullets are going to look like when they come out, the ballistics. You'd never do that. So why take them away? I would put my money into trying to do the stopping and frisking, get the people that are illegally holding the guns, because they're the only ones that are a real threat, and the ones that have their licenses and they have their locker in their bedroom closet filled with their guns, even if they are AR-15s, so long as they've legally come by them, fine. They're not the ones going around doing mass murdering.
I'm just telling you, this is what I told in the beginning, and we're not done with this because we have one more.
And educate your freaking children.
Okay. Yeah, but
if you've got guns in your house, Okay, keep an eye on your kids because I got to tell you, that kid that went to the school and any of them. Okay,
the parents should be responsible.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
don't tell me, do
Lock
not
them
tell
up.
me
Lock them up.
that there wasn't any signs. Okay,
Oh, there was.
There had to be signs where he's shooting his grandmother in the freaking
Well, that
face
was the same day, but there was signs before that.
No, but that's my point.
Right, that kid,
that's
listen,
my point.
that kid
you don't
was
pick your gun up and point it at your nan and shoot her in
well,
the face.
that just shows you he's sick. But
to begin with,
right,
so
that's
they
he's sick.
had to have been showing some signs.
Right. So, Jeremy, have you ever dealt with really criminally insane people? I'm being serious.
No,
Do you know what I have?
I am married.
No. I've seen people who, Jared, the guy Dahmer, he would drill holes in these people and he would drug them up and he would want to have sexual zombies. I saw people throw their kids off the bridge. I've seen people who were cold stone murderers in Philly.
You're saying he wanted to lobotomize these people they were just zombies?
What I'm saying is that the kid down there in Mexico was a sick dude. Yeah. First of all, you make a good point though. Somebody had to see what was going on. He was well trained. It cost him like $10,000 to get the equipment that he has. Where did he get the money from? His mother couldn't even speak English. Well, stop for a second. Just listen. There's more going on to this. These people, they need to be a big investigation. But my point is that absolutely the parents, if the kids are underage, they need to be accountable. Now, if they're 18 and above, I don't know. But let me get back to what I want to talk. What are we going to do? So listen, suicides. We need intense. We need red flag laws. I'm very great. I think they're a good idea. Right. If you're beating the shit out of your wife, and you got guns, or you're getting divorced, you need to get counseling, and we need to be able to take those guns temporarily without trashing your civil rights, the Second Amendment,
or taking any away.
But taking away permanently, but not permanently, but taking away temporarily until the crisis has passed, so you don't kill yourself or kill somebody else. Murders, the handguns. Okay, a lot of this is criminal. A lot of this is criminal, where it's in the cities, and unfortunately, one way to do that is to start. Because most of these people who are doing it, the crimes, it's not legally bought guns because they can't buy them. Gangbangers, who've been locked up are not going to walk in to Dick's, wherever, a sporting goods store and fill out an application and get a gun. Yeah. They're going to get it illegally. Listen, you can't stop the friggin' fentanyl coming into this country. You think if you outlaw guns, you're gonna stop that?
It's like crystal
They'll
meth
make China will be
like everything out
so
there.
my point is, stop and frisk. It works. It worked in New York City, and you could clean up this situation.
Right now, tell you, the harder you try to take those guns away, the more you're gonna see them on the street.
So listen to me. What did we say? Murder right here. So go here. Murder. No, go to that 45,000. Don't even go to the video. You have now reduced the amount. If you could cut that in half, you could probably cut that. Stop and frisk will probably reduce the murders in the cities, Jeremy, by at least half.
Yeah,
half. That's 10,000 people. Now if we could cut suicide with guns in half, and any suicide, cut the murders by gun violence in the cities, and even the rural areas. All right. It's huge amount of people. Now, I want to make the last point, and this is about the school shootings, okay, which are one child getting killed is just heartbreaking and terrible. Yeah. I, for the life of me, can't understand as a doctor how an 18-year-old child could, in his mind, he could be so corrupted, so disorientated, so filled with maybe hate or confusion or mental illness, right? Go in and shoot other children. Number one, how did he get to that point? Or in all of these shootings, what are these kids? We got to take these children. I mean, they're dead. I mean, dissect them. Look at their brains. Look at every minute what they did, and try to figure out, where's the sickness here? Yeah. Is it our society? Is it not? It's no religion.
So this is us trying to rationalize the irrational again.
Right. Taking the guns away, though. Here's the thing. Let me just make a point about taking the guns away these people, he could buy a bomb. You know, you could say, okay, we can make it harder and harder. One thing right now, immediately, what I would do immediately is to school security. We got billions of dollars to go over Ukraine. Yeah. I would say every school in this country,
100%.
You have bulletproof glass. You have one way in. Yep. You know, maybe exit doors. You have armed guards. You have guys in there with AR-15s. You know, bulletproof vests. And I mean, you hire not some old retired, you know, police officers. Listen, I have a lot of friends, old retired police officers, and they're pretty damn good. But you get, you know, a guy who just came off of 6 years special forces. Pay him $200,000. Yeah. My granddaughter in my school, I want that guy paid that. Yeah. You know, frig the Ukraine or Pelosi's plane, or, you know, we got plenty of money here. Every school should be hardened, and there should be, you know, if you look at, it's interesting, in the cities, there's murders, you know, crime, but the inner city schools, rarely do you hear of a mass shooting. Why? They're all locked down already. Yeah. They got medical because kids are walking in with guns. Outside, you got more chance of getting shot outside the school than inside.
Yeah, those are the safer schools to go to.
Right.
You think they're dangerous. Maybe the kids are rough.
The gangbangers got to leave their guns. They can't go to school with them.
Yeah. There's metal detectors going in and all of that.
Right. And you know, and again too, there's you know, it's funny too. If you look at most of these school shootings, a lot of it's white kids. Affluent white kids.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Which blows my mind, you know. So I
think, you know, when you try to rationalize, I try to rationalize it, you know, because I'm a dad watching this. Of
course, you're a rational individual. You get too close.
I'm a rational individual, but you know, and I try to rationalize why kids would. So he shoots his grandmother in the face, this particular one, and then he knows his life's over.
Well, we don't know what.
No. Well, all right. Even if you're half nuts, you got to know this is it. You know, I mean, you just shot your nan in the face. You don't know if she's dead or not. Okay. And then, so what does he do? He goes to the nearest school, and he becomes infamous, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't want to talk specifics about that because there's a lot of layers there that people. I think this guy was trained.
Well, as far as Coke bottle out of the way. Far as school,
now there's something going. But
as far as school security goes, one thing that they should be doing,
what's that?
Is whatever drills or evacuation procedures that they're going to do, they should fluctuate. It shouldn't be the same evacuation thing every week or every month or every 3 months. Okay, it should be. They should fluctuate. So this month's, we're going to evacuate to the West Wing, or this month we're going to go into the gym. This month we're going towards the cafeteria. You know, because,
don't let him in. Don't let him in.
But my point in saying that is that the elementary schools and some of the schools that these shooters shoot up are schools that they went to as kids. Okay, so they know what the emergency drills are and where they're going to. You got to change it up.
And that ain't going to do shit. I can tell you right now.
Because all you're doing is teaching the killers in the future where to find the people to kill.
No, you know what?
How is that?
No, it's not going to do shit. You know why they go to schools? Because it's a soft target. That was a soft target.
No, I understand why they do it. I'm just saying. To
listen, don't let the kid in there. It doesn't, Jeremy. Once they're in there, they could go to the library. They could go here. He's going to kill them all.
Supposedly, he snuck in through an open door.
Well, that was open. Right. So you know, the kid. Listen, this was not a. This guy was all fucked up. He crashed his car. Don't use that. Here's what happens. What you're doing is you're going off what's called a rabbit hole. You're going down and discussing, which is good for a radio show, but that's not going to do shit. What's going to do something immediately is you have bulletproof glass. You have metal detect. You have armed guards. You close those friggin' doors. Like, it's a fort. For somebody to get in there, like this guy, he would have had to shoot his way in there. And it ain't going to happen. He'll be dead before he even touches the front door. And that's what has to happen. Okay, and you know why a lot of people don't want to spend money, because it's such a small percentage of people who die this way. One is too many, but let's face it. A lot of these places don't want to spend the friggin' money, and they better. So I'm just you could talk about gun control. You could try to take away all the guns in the world, mental health. What you want to do right now, to stop the violence, if you're really serious, today, tomorrow, fortify the schools. You could have contractors in there. You could do that within a month. Okay?
How about this? Here's an idea for fortification, okay? The desks, right, have pedals that the kids can stand, press down with their feet, right, which raises up a
50 caliber
shield.
50 caliber machine gun. Forget about the plexiglass.
No, but if they all had,
right. So you going on your theory, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen. I could go in.
You shoot down everything I say.
What if the kid brings in a bomb or grenades? What's that next? So you have plexiglass. The guy opens up a grenade and throws it in the classroom.
All right. Then there's going to be more debris to puncture my body and kill me.
Right. I mean,
well, and maybe I'll bleed out quicker. Okay. All right. I'm spitballing here, Mike. I'm spitballing here.
You got it. There's mental illness out there. Why? When I was in high school, Jeremy, we had guns all over the place, and I don't know how much more guns there are, but why is kids doing this? So again, you're talking. We could have another whole show on the mental illness. There's no God. There's the media. We get lied to. The kids are using drugs out the ass. They're watching these stupid video games. Kill, kill, kill. Does that have anything? I don't give a shit what you say. You watch those video games where you sit there for hours and hours. You're 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, and you watch these video games about killing. If you look at the inner city,
and you do nothing else but watch them, you don't even come up for air.
Look at it. No,
you're right.
I don't think the kids in the inner city have the money to do that.
100%.
What they're doing is they're trying to survive. They're fighting for.
No. Those kids in the inner city have those games. Those consoles.
Okay, maybe they do. Maybe okay. Yes. So I might be wrong here, but my point is that we really need to look at we're a sick society, and you could think about getting rid of Second Amendment. It ain't going to happen. In fact, the Supreme Court's probably going to decide that you could carry to protect yourself. What we need to do is as I said, you need to fortify school security. You could do that now. That could be done across the country, Jeremy. It'll create jobs, and you pay these ex-military guys who are really good, big money to sit there and patrol that school. And you say, I don't want my kids to see that. Well, you know what? I think the parents who lost children would agree that that's probably something that can be done immediately. Now, if you want to get rid of assault rifles and gun laws, that's fine. What you could do immediately you could do today. And I agree with this governor in this state, and I know the NRA and everything. I really believe in these red flag laws because I've seen people who were, got divorced, they're depressed, they're fighting with their girlfriend, they're getting, they're losing their job. Yeah. They got a gun, they're raging. And it's not, I don't want it to be one thing, but it's got to be, but you, and I know you might be hesitant because you're saying, okay, but in Florida, it works. If you're going to be able to carry a gun, you have to do it responsibly, and we need to be there. The next thing is stop and frisk. So I'm looking at three things here. Suicide is mental health, okay? Not necessarily taking the guns, mental health, but also maybe taking the guns temporarily away, not permanently, not banning them, and you got to have a due process. Florida's pretty good, and I think Florida's a great state. Number two, the murders, handguns. It's not big rifles, it's handguns. What do you got to get rid of the handguns? No, you need to stop and frisk, take them, just like you're going to do with the suicide people. If they're criminal and they're walking around in the cities, you take the gun away from them. And you lock them up, again, temporary. The third thing is for the schools, school security. You got to shut down the schools. This could reduce immediately, Jeremy, the murder rate in this country. I don't want to advocate, though, taking away weapons from people who want to protect themselves. Or the founding fathers. The Second Amendment is an interesting thing. It's not. It's to protect us from a wild society. You say, what do I need an AR-15? No, you don't. Not now, you don't. But what happens if we have World War III? Or what happens when this economy gets so crazy? What happens if there's like crazy times in this country? And chances are probably not. That's not going to happen. But you want to be able to protect yourself. That's what the founding fathers. The founding fathers came from a place where you had no rights. You had, China, Hitler took away the guns. The first thing Hitler did Let's take away all the guns before he started exterminating the Jews.
Yeah.
And that's the government. Now, I'm not saying this government is ever going to get to that point.
Right.
But, this is the first thing you do.
We're not.
Right
now, it doesn't seem like we're far off.
And also, I was watching this one show. It was Nicki Minaj, and she says, Nicki Minaj. She says, if you kill somebody with a gun and they're unarmed, you should go to jail. She said that. I did an interview. So I sat there and I'm like saying to myself, okay, it's Nicki. How do you pronounce her first name?
Nicki,
right.
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, let's just say that one of your crazy effing fans finds you. You don't have your security guards. I'm very sure she has them out, tons of them.
Yeah.
Knocks down your door and beats the piss out of you and rapes you. Right? And while he's doing that, you have a 38 special strapped to your garter belt in your crotch.
Yeah. Like you do.
And you blow his balls off and you kill him.
Right. Balls first.
Yeah. Now, should you go to jail? He didn't have a gun, but he weighed 250 pounds. He you got a broken jaw. So I could give you a million other scenarios where, an unarmed person.
Hey, this is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for shooting. This is for fun.
Right. So my point is that, we do have, there's history here too. Yeah. The Second Amendment is God-given, in my opinion. The Founding Fathers didn't invent the Second Amendment. They said your right to bear arms and carry and protect your life should not be infringed by the government, which means it existed before the government.
Right.
That comes from English law. So think about it. So this whole gun issue is a very, very interesting thing. There's the overt civil right, the Second Amendment right to carry a gun, to have a gun to protect your life. And then there's the society where you got these crazies who are doing all this violence. And how do you reconcile both of them? And that's I just explained to you. It's you need to reconcile it. Both sides have to give up a little bit. Okay, the people in the inner cities.
Both sides are not going to want to give up. A little bit.
Here's the thing: the people in the cities got to lay low on this friggin' race shit. We want to save black kids. I want to save black babies. I don't want them to die innocent bystanders. I can't. 16-year-old kid who's a gangbanger. He could be rehabilitated. He's 16 years old. God's sake, he's a baby. But he's murdering people. Are they so far gone? Maybe we could put an end to that and rehabilitate him. Stop and frisk. Don't put him in a penitentiary. Maybe a camp somewhere out in Wyoming. Let him milk cows or her, and maybe introduce them to Jesus. Get them to see a better life.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
The suicides. A lot of these people are depressed. They're good people. They're killing themselves. They're down and out. We need to have.
I'm going to tell you something.
Outreach.
I think it's a great idea. I think what you're saying is great, but I got to poo-poo you because.
Go ahead, give me a poo-poo.
All right, because you take them out there to a farm. The first thing everybody's going to be saying is you're taking my black son to a white supremacist farm to teach him white ways.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen, man.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm dreaming that up. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's tough. It's tough. Anything you think about, there's that flip side, man. That's the flip side that's going to prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
So in the end, what can you do?
Well, you got to
try. You can pray.
Yeah,
you can
pray.
do.
I you know what? I'll take the criticism about. I think that in the black community, people like you said Candace Owen, and there's a lot of people who
there's
have
a lot of people that aren't in the
they need to
camera like Candace is.
No.
But they believe the young, smart black people that believe the same things that Candace Owens believes, what she speaks out about, and she speaks out about what black people can do, and without any kind of persecutions or you having to blame this person because you don't think you're getting it right. They can get everything. It's within their reach.
Right. Think about the tragedy of this, Jeremy.
Yeah,
all of these kids in the inner city, 14, 15 years old, even younger, are getting killed.
Yeah.
How much talent are we losing? How many
people, how many future doctors,
lawyers, whatever, plumbers, their life was sniffed out.
I hate to miss the plumber.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing too is with the suicides. And these are young kids, 10, 11, 12, 13, killing themselves. You have older people killing themselves. You know, we need to, and here's the thing. I showed you that one statistic. The statistic back in the 70s were actually worse.
Yeah.
Just go. Let me before you do that.
That 1980s decade,
Let me
man,
show
that
you
was
that.
an eye opener because I'd love to know what we were doing in the 80s that brought murder down so low. I mean, that was fantastic.
I think it was good times. I think what part of it.
The TV show Good Times?
No, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
With Rerun?
I think
And
that,
Dwayne Wayne?
No.
And Roger?
No.
And Shirley at the diner? No?
No, I think what was it was prosperity. It was a lot of prosperity. I'm trying to look here.
For our audience, if anybody requests, I will dance like Rerun if you need me to.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Let me. Yeah, you go look. You do this for a minute.
I'm not-
And then I want to show this in statistic, and then we'll close this up. All right.
Yeah.
So let me see. You know, you're talking about a lot of people who could be saved. Their lives could be saved because of this. Here it is, right here.
Flintstone vitamins.
Right. But I always talk about perspective, Jeremy, and I want to leave with this one. Can you put the iPad on?
Sure thing.
Okay. And I think this is really important to see. So for the people on the podcast,
Yeah, this is great.
So we have this is out of Pew Research that's just done last week. So this is U.S. gun suicide and gun murder
Between 1968 and 1978. So this is...
No. Between 1968 and 2000, 2020.
Right here, see it?
Yeah, gun between are classified by CD involving firing explosives. That's
CDC
something different.
involving-
Those between, so in other words, gun murders and suicides between 68 and 78 are classified by CD as involving firearms and explosives.
Oh, okay.
During the 70s and the 60s, the mafia
Oh, so
were
from
using
79 to 2020, it's firearms only. Okay.
Because what happened was, if you look at the Mayweather Underground, you know, the crazies during the 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
they used bombs. They killed thousands of people with bombs. There was a lot of. Do you remember? Were you around in the 70s, Jerry? How old were you born? I forget.
Yeah. I was born in 74. But
Okay, so there was the mafia. There was the a lot of the mafia. A lot of the criminals used bombs, car bombs. You remember the old movies? The car blows up.
Yeah.
It's easy to use. It's easy. It was used, and then guns became more prevalent. Okay, but before that, you had tons of murders. People were blown up.
Right.
So if you get rid of guns, you'll go back
if
to.
you really look at this chart from 2000 to like 2016,
Yeah,
it's lower than it was in the 80s.
yeah.
Like and that is well before the lockdowns. Okay, so I mean, I guess if this was during the lockdowns, you could even easily explain it. Well, people weren't out, so this is why it's so low. So what was going on in the year 2000 to 2016? I'd love to know that.
Well, what it was,
that kept people from killing each other, you know, as much as.
Well, you had think about who was the president of the United States, what the society was. 2000, you did have some. 2008, you had the collapse.
2000's
2000,
Obama, right?
No.
Who was 2000?
No.
George W.
Yeah, the Bushes, and this is. But I think that I don't know what the reason is. But we have to drill down. But more importantly, if you look at 68, 72, there was murder rate and suicide rate were higher between 72 and almost say 76. I graduated high school 76. You had the Vietnam War going on. You had civil unrest. You had the embargo, gas prices, the economy, interest rates were like 17%. It was a rough time. Yeah. You also coming out of the 60s where you had heroin, LSD, drug abuse. It was a crazy time. And then, in the 80s, 84, 85, everything dropped. Well, the murders dropped. Suicides, if you look at suicides, they have gone up and then down and now up again. Suicides have been pretty steady. What the change in the suicides have been is that more people are shooting themselves. Yeah. Before, it used to be, hangings, drug overdoses, cutting.
But you know what? I mean, honestly, it doesn't ever dip down too much.
It's the murders that go up and down.
2000 to 2016, right? suicide dipped down too. So it's the lowest murders have ever been during that time, and it's the lowest suicides were ever between 2000 and 2016. I'd love to know.
Well, you could do research on it and bring it to us next time. That would be your job.
That would be the
But
work
going
I gotta
back
do.
to, I want to put things in perspective. Again, even though it's bad today, it was worse in the 70s. There was more.
Hell yeah. Look at that.
Now, there was less guns. Listen to me, Jeremy. In 77, 76, there was less guns than there are now. Okay? There was less people than there are now. But there was more murders and more suicides. Do we understand that?
Yeah.
So it's not just the guns. And statistics will bear it out. I think this is a great thing to look at. So before you go half-cocked and take all the guns away, you know, and I understand the people on the other side, the red flag laws and everything. And I don't want to trash on anybody's civil rights. And any of these laws need to be in the framework of the Constitution. Yeah. And if you're going to remove somebody's guns because they have a problem, I would not take it away, permanently. So anyway, these are good, but there are ups and downs. And maybe we could, if we work on things, it could go down. But we have to stop and frisk. We need mental illness. We got to fortify the schools right now.
You know what happened in the 80s that I remember that could explain this?
The down murder rate.
What? Right, the down murder rate. Hands Across America.
Man, I don't know.
That's what it was. No, I'm saying, it's quite an ordeal to get everybody to hold hands across the country. All right, I was in that. I was a link in that chain.
Right.
I understand.
Right,
and you know what?
Get rid of this.
Holding a hand of one of my neighbors, someone I don't know but I love.
Right. Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah. So go back to me. Let's finish this up. So we're going to wrap this up.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think that we have to. It's always about perspective and not getting emotional. But I can tell you right now, the safest place should be in the schools, and the quickest thing to do for that is stop this bullshit rhetoric about taking everybody's guns away. Fortify the schools.
But you know what though, Mike? I mean, it does open up a lot of questions. Back in the 80s, we used to do stuff like that. We would do Hands Across America. We would do Live Aid. If there was a reason to be...
There was more church. There was more church. There was more...
But if there was a reason to be altruistic and to help others and to just give a man a leg up.
Jeremy...
It happened back then.
When the astronauts were jammed up in Apollo 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
They called for Congress to pray. Can you imagine anybody calling for Congress to pray today?
Man, yeah.
We had more religious background. We had more. The internet wasn't around.
Religion was more.
We didn't
part
have
of the state.
We didn't
then.
have this toxic. Yeah, but we didn't have this toxic environment. What we do right now.
No.
We're lied to. People don't believe. About the election. It goes up and down. But I don't know the answer to why. It goes up and down, but I want to make the point. It's been worse than it is now.
Yeah, but here's another.
So it can be, and it can go down again.
It was, but now that it's gone back up, okay, it could be just an easy thing where, there's not enough goodwill to go around. There's not enough tolerance to go around.
I don't think you got to. My point about this whole thing is that, the answer is not taking all the guns away. The answer is you got the Second Amendment. We law-abiding citizens should be able to keep their guns and have them, especially for self-defense. And you should be able to concealed carry in every state in the union. That's my opinion. But, and there's the but. How about here's the thing, that interesting thing. Part of the law in Philadelphia is if you were a habitual marijuana user, you couldn't own a gun. Yeah. Okay? But now in New Jersey, you could smoke marijuana and over 21, and if you're under 21, you can smoke marijuana in public, on the boardwalk, on the beach, and it's not criminal, and you only get a warning. Now, can all those individuals have a gun? I don't know.
Any of them can.
I don't know. No, I don't know what the law is in New Jersey. I don't. If you're a habitual pot smoker,
you're saying,
can you own a gun now? In Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, according to that law we just read, no. If you're habitual, now I don't know what in Pennsylvania pot is legal.
That's a good point. That's a good point. When they made pot legal in this state, was any of that given a thought?
Oh, I'm very sure, and I bet you any amount of money. I bet you $50 right now that if you smoke pot and it's legalized and you're buying it and they got record of it, your gun's gonna be taken away. Huh. Dumbasses. So who knows? Now, but should they be taken away? I don't know. My point is that Jeremy, we need common sense gun laws. Again, hear about the age, 21 or 18. In Philadelphia, they just said in the state of Pennsylvania, you can't own a gun until you're 21. I think that's a pretty good idea. But somebody said to me the other day, well, you're 18, you go in and shoot and fire and kill people in the military. You know what? I don't think you should be able to go in the military until you're 21. 18, 19 is too young to die. Let the people live. I'd say 21, and so get rid of the guns in anyone who's I'll compromise there. 21 and above, but let them carry. And if you do get mentally ill or there's domestics, let's pull the plug a little bit temporarily, but make sure they get that gun back. And if they and they don't have to cost them tens of thousands of dollars to get it back. Yeah. I think that the schools should be fortified real quick. And we could put a damper on this a little bit. But again, if you look at the statistics, it was worse in the 670s than it is now. Yeah. But we didn't have school shootings. And what really is changed, in my opinion, is that the deaths that we have, the murders, have the demographic had changed. A lot of it was mafiosa. So now you got the criminals in the cities, and a lot of it's gang. And then you have these mass shooting, these crazies. Yeah. And that is really scary. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And we need and that's mental illness. And you made a good point. These kids don't somebody had to see them. Somebody has to know them. And that kid got the gun illegal. If it was 21 years of age, he wouldn't have got the gun. Now maybe he would have done something else. Yeah. So I'm all for that. I think that most of these kids who shoot up the schools, like you said, they know the environment. They just graduated. Right. They're in they're 17, 18, 19. Well, but a lot of them got the guns. Some of them got them, maybe from their parents. So the parents need to be. That's another law. Lock up things. The guns should be
get them from. You're right about that.
The guns should be all locked up. Now, I just read a case in Florida. The gun was up in a shelf somewhere out in the open, and what happened was the 3-year-old shot the gun and killed the father accidentally. Killed the father. Tragedy all the way around. They indicted the mom for manslaughter because they didn't. The gun was exposed. You got to lock these guns up. You got to put them in a safe. You got to, again, on and on and on. But we.
And you know what? And this got me thinking when I was in England, and I had to figure out how to get a test for the pandemic. To come back home, and you did it over a Zoom call. Now, what if there was so you legally get your gun, then you got to prove that you actually have a locker or something that you can lock your gun up at home, because you're right, that kid, he got a hold of that AR-15. Now, was it his? Was it his dad's? And how easily was it for him to obtain? There needs to be an investigation into that, because I think that if you're getting a gun license and you're owning such a gun like an AR-15, you have to prove that you have adequate places in your home where you can lock said gun up, and that's that.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing,
and
Jeremy.
that could easily be done over a Zoom call with whatever departments, the gun in whatever department.
Well, there's going to be, listen, these things need to be debated, and every state's going to have their own little thing. And, as time goes on, we need to deal with this. So anyway, let's get out of here. We've done it. It was a great show, Jeremy. I really appreciate, the time we had here. Let me get some music here. Jeremy, can we have our what do you call it? Our
it was
stuff
a good
up.
show.
Can you put in? Good. Can you put in right now on there the Dr. Kachmar at iCloud.com? So if anybody wants to talk to us, they could get us and send us an email at drkachmar at iCloud.com. That's drkachmar at icloud.com. We have a webpage, JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. That's JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. You get us there.
And if you would like to make an appointment with the master of the lower extremities, how can we do that?
732-269-1133. The number's right there, Jeremy. Third from the bottom. Third from the bottom, right there. Hit that. Maybe that should be it. No, that's our phone. Okay. So, Jeremy, anything else you want to add? You want to say?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody that sharing, subscribing, and liking all the platforms you find us on. That'll help us out a great deal. And, we were talking about a lot of harmful things today that happen in our world, but I hope all of you will try tolerance as a choice and kindness as another one. Remember, we love you, and I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Right. So, everyone, on that note, listen, we're pundits. These are our opinions. We're not the smartest guys in the world. But we've been on this earth for quite a long time, and we have in our heart only love. We don't want anybody to die, and we want people of all colors, races, creeds to have equal opportunity. Yeah. All of us believe in equal opportunity, and I think that
I love everybody.
Right.
But unless you're like an a-hole or something. Yeah.
All right. All right, Jeremy, send us out. How about ending this?
Guys.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. It's right on the bottom there. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You got to hit that, Jeremy, and then the next one. End broadcast. You got to hit it again.